Hello, thanks for joining us on Nationwide. I'm Ruth Aguele. President Bola Tinubu has arrived to New York to join other world leaders at the ongoing 78th UN General Assembly taking place between September 18 to 26, 2023. Since assuming office, this is the first UN General Assembly being attended by the Nigerian leader Bola Tinubu as the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The Assembly affords world leaders, including young leaders, the opportunity to discuss and debate how to confront the global multiple crisis and find strategies to accelerate action on the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. The SDGs Summit will be central at the 78th UNGA event. President Bola Tinubu will also seize the opportunity to deliver Nigeria's statement and foster diplomatic ties with other world leaders. Recently, President Tinubu was in New Delhi for the G20 summit. Minister of Works David Umahi says the Tinubu administration inherited 2,604 road projects covering 18,000 kilometers and will cost 14 trillion naira. The minister stated this while briefing State House correspondent, saying the Tinubu administration has so far paid 4 trillion naira out of the 14 trillion owed to contractors, with 6 trillion naira funding gap across the country.
We have a number of programs for our road development under the previous administration, and of course we inherited all the projects. We've not dropped any of the projects, but curious to know that some of these projects have lasted for 20 years, some 10 years. In fact, in most cases they are never appropriated throughout every tenure. And so I went to seek Mr. President's nod so that I will be able to terminate some of the projects that have stayed up to 10 years without any defined source of funding. I discussed that with Mr. President, and I also noted, and I shared it with Mr. President, the way appropriation is being done is not healthy to develop our road infrastructure. For example, for a road that may cost 10 billion, an appropriation of 150 million is made. It is just for the contractor to take and put his pocket, because where an average cost of project that we inherited is about 700 million per kilometer, and you are giving out 150 million for the whole year, then you are just enhancing the pocket of the contractor.
The minister decried the current appropriation system for federal road projects, noting that the piecemeal disbursement of funds to contractors is frustrating delivery. He noted the short lifespan of some roads necessitated his recent proposal to the president to redesign and construct future roads with reinforced concrete.
And the worrisome part of this is that even the ones that are being funded properly, the roads hardly will last up to 5 years. So I briefed Mr. President on what we are doing by introducing reinforced concrete technology for our road pavement. I know there are a lot of fights from contractors, but I'm David, I'm known for fight, and I will fight this because I have reported myself to Mr. President. But incidentally, Mr. President is also an infrastructure guru, and he's fully in support that we should use reinforced concrete for our road pavement.
The appeal to the president to engage the National Assembly on prioritizing some of the road projects for speedy completion. The new executive chairman of the Federal Inland Revenue Service, Zaccheaus Adedeji, has resumed office with the promise to consolidate on achievements recorded by his predecessor, Mohammed Nami. Benny Adams reports that the new tax boss says with the use of technology and ongoing tax reforms, he and his team are committed to deliver a tax-to-GDP ratio of 18% in 3 years, while working to boost annual tax collection to more than 15 trillion naira.
In our pursuit of brighter fiscal future, we are determined to align ourselves with President Bola Tinubu's Extreme Fiscal Policy and Tax Reform Committee. This collaboration will enable us to shape the prosperous fiscal landscape that will empower our nation's growth and development.
We already have achieved a tax to GDP ratio of 10.86% within 2 years, that is at 31st December 2021. It may interest us to know that our projected total tax 2022 collection is a minimum of 15 trillion and a projected tax to GDP of nearly 14% by end of the year 2023.
A look at politics. The People's Democratic Party is confident of reclaiming Kogi State in the November 11 governorship election. This was the position of many leaders of the party during the unveiling of a policy document of its governorship candidate, Senator Dino Melaye, at the party's headquarters in Abuja. Timothy Yusuf reports.
Presentation of the policy document tagged Solution Book by the governorship candidate for the People's Democratic Party in Kogi State, Dino Melaye. The document identified areas of focus for the governorship candidate if victorious in the upcoming election.
Oga, this is the thing where we do, make you look at that book, try and do it. And that is the only way we can help him.
And I know that this document will be able to give us a direction. And when we have a direction, we know the man that we're working with, he will follow it and he will make good with it.
It's going to be a new dawn. It's going to be a new order. It's going to be a new day.
Many here believe that a policy document has become imperative to give Kogi State a direction for its growth and development going forward. They recommended that there must be an independent Kogi State Economic Development Commission, and when Dino Melaye becomes the governor, people that will constitute that commission should be independent, credible, and have influence on the activities of the governor. Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
Bayelsa is among the 3 states where the off-cycle governorship elections will be held on November 11 this year. Already, political parties and their candidates are aligning and realigning, as well as receiving endorsements from individuals and groups. But they're yet to sell their manifestos to the electorate whose votes they seek. Our correspondent, Ebinimi Zetimiola, is standing by with a legal practitioner and public affairs analyst, Mr. Stanley Damabide, who will be giving insight as to the perceived low political activities across Bayelsa State just a few weeks before the governorship election. But before we link up with our correspondent in Yenagoa, here's a background report to that.
In line with the timetable and schedule of activities by INEC for the 11th November 2023 governorship election in Bayelsa State, the tempo of political activities across the length and breadth of the state is yet to gather momentum.
You are to meet with the people you want to govern. So it is expected of them that from the day they lift embargo on campaign, we expect to see Bayelsa agog with different kinds of political rally, jingles and what have you.
Some political stakeholders say they are mindful of the time and season.
He has been making one-on-one contacts, also with communities.
So over 90% of the non-sensitive materials we have received, and it's also being bashed at the various local government areas of of our offices here in Bayelsa State. Then in terms of the manpower, yes, we're already having trainings.
16 political parties are on the final list, out of which are 14 male and 12 female governorship candidates. In Yenagoa, Ebinimi Zetimiola, NTA News.
I told you our correspondent Ebinimi is standing by. We join her live now. She's with her guest for her to give us update on the issue on ground. Ebinimi, please fill us in. with our correspondent there. But when we do, we'll definitely connect with her again. We'll turn to other issues. Capacity building in all its ramifications bring about achievable approach in managing most difficult situations for the overall development of the society. Director General, National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, Habib Ahmed stated this at the closing of the 3 days capacity building training for officials of NEMA and that of state emergency management agencies in Abuja. Ilyasu Yakubu reports.
In which brought together the staff of NEMA and that of the state emergency management agencies was a deliberate attempt to foster cooperation, collaboration, experience sharing and enhance synergy between the federal and state agencies in the delivery of their mandate. It was also designed to strengthen capacity in the areas of humanitarian coordination mechanisms, disaster management cycle and institutional capacity, resource mobilization, information management, community-based disaster management, search and rescue, incident command system, disaster preparedness, risk management, and early warning system, among others. The DG NEMA said the agency is looking beyond the present and working towards building a more robust system of disaster management where all relevant stakeholders are not only aware but also prepared to carry out their roles in the management of disaster.
I therefore wish to congratulate the participants for being lucky to be part of this training. I encourage you to apply the knowledge gained and skills acquired towards improving the service rendered in your various agencies and locations.
The head of UN OCHA office, Mr. Trond Jensen, who was represented by the head of government, Liazin, Mr. Ibrahim Bari, promised that the UN organization will continue to collaborate with NEMA in the discharge of its mandates.
Our role as humanitarian is to support the government in responding to this.
The 2023 flood disaster is envisaged to be more devastating based on the seasonal climate prediction and flood outlook by NIMET and NISA. In Abuja, Ilyasu Yakubu, NTA News.
Still on disaster management, following the flood incident, search and rescue operations conducted by the National Emergency Management Agency and the State Emergency Management Agency, SEMA, in several communities affected by flood in 2022. The federal government has offered special intervention to support the victims in Cross River State. Udwak Etienne reports that the federal government has been commended for the implementation and timely distribution of the special national economic and livelihood emergency intervention.
It would be recalled that the 2022 flood disaster affected many communities across the country, including Cross River State, as many homes, farmlands and crops were destroyed. The federal government, in its effort to assist the victims, distributed food and non-food items as special national economic livelihood emergency intervention through the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, to the affected states, and Cross River State is one of the beneficiaries. These relief items were delivered to the State Emergency Management Agency, SEMA, in Calabar.
I want to say thank you to Mr. President and all his team for their wonderful support towards.
This is the first of its kind that relief materials or palliatives are sent from the federal government and they got to the beneficiaries.
The Director General NEMA, Mustafa Ahmed, represented by the Supervisors Nelly, Cross River State, who flagged off the distribution exercise, together with the Deputy Governor, Cross River State, Peter Ode, commiserated with those that lost their livelihoods and advised that people should be proactive against flooding.
The state government is very happy about it, that the federal government has decided to do something for them.
This is a special intervention from the presidency, which the federal government has approved in respect of 2022 flood victims, which we have been enumerated all over the country.
A total of 10,876 beneficiaries were enumerated in Cross River State. In Calabar, Udwak Etam, NTA News.
And of course, you know, when there is no flood, farmers tend to reap bumper harvests, and that should be the case of farmers in Benue State, following the timely availability of farm inputs and fertilizers at the subsidized rate by government across 23 local government areas of the state. And we hear they're set for a bumper harvest. The Commissioner for Agriculture and Natural Resources, Professor Jonah Ogbaji, made the remark while giving an update on the distribution process of the product in the state. Let's hear from Moses Ajawu Ode.
Benue State has over the years been known for the production of rich varieties of farm crops to meet the needs of Nigerians. This accounts for its appellation, food basket of the nation. But at the moment, this status is being challenged by insecurity and natural phenomena such as global warming and its attendant consequences. Aside from this, farmers have continued to grapple with the issues of non-availability of farm inputs, leading to a growing food shortage.
Years back, we have been going here and there, which we heard that governments are distributing fertilizers for farmers. We go, nothing like that. But this year, I appreciate that I got it at the government price.
It is to address this challenge and restore the state to its glory as the food hub of the nation that the Benue State government distributed 100 trucks of fertilizer to the 23 local government areas of the state.
In the last 3 years, there was no supply of fertilizer to farmers, given to farmers at very subsidized rate. So this is also an appeal. Farmers who need fertilizers to farm, you can come now and apply. Please, it's not late. You can top dress your rice.
I happen to be a member of the task force, and the ministry too was doing well. So the combination of these two great bodies actually helped in the distribution of fertilizer in the state.
He maintained that the ministry has also continued to improve on sustained crop varieties with an all-year-round productivity target in line with the federal government Zero Hunger project. In Makudi, Moses Ajawu, NTA News.
And to tell us more on the state government intervention to the farmers, talking about the inputs and fertilizers being subsidized for farmers, we have our correspondent live standing by in Makodi, Moses Ajawu Ode. He's at the Ministry of Agriculture to give us a situation report on the distribution process. Moses, please go ahead.
Of Makudi, where the fertilizers are being kept for onward distribution across the 23 local government areas of the state. So far, the distribution process has been seamless without hitches, and 98 trucks, to be precise, has arrived and been distributed. 2 additional trucks just arrived, and they are right there at the warehouse. And from what we heard from the authorities at the ministry, they've not had any hitches at all. With me is the state chairman of the All Farmers Association, Mr. Donald Saku. Mr. Saku, you were part of the process all along. Could you please tell us how you feel when you heard about this gesture by the governor?
We farmers of Benue State are very, very grateful to our governor, because within just less than 2 months of his inauguration, he has procured fertilizer for our farmers, which means he knows the problem of farmers. He was not just coming to the seat, he knew the problem of people of his state. That is why he has gone ahead to bring this thing very well. So.
Okay. Mr. Saku, there are pockets of complaints from people that these products, especially the fertilizer, didn't get to some farmers across the state. What was the mechanism put in place by your association in monitoring distribution of this product?
The fertilizer went straight to the farmers who require them, because in all the local governments we have our farmers coordinators who are monitoring to make sure that it gets to the actual farmers who will use it on their farms, not for any commercial purpose.
Okay, so what it means is that there are positive, there's going to be a positive end to this during the harvest season. What do you foresee?
Actually, it is going to be bumper harvest, because with the fertilizer at the time it came, actually farmers are going to make good use of their money. They are going to realize what they have spent on their farms.
Okay. They stopped subsidizing this product for 12,500 as against 25 to 30,000 naira. I think that's a lot. What do you have to say?
We are actually grateful to our governor for subsidizing the fertilizer to that level. If not, fertilizer would have gone to over even 30,000 per bag. But with this kind of subsidy, even the other peasant farmers who wouldn't have been able to get, will get and use it on their farms.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Saku, State Chairman, All Farmers Association of Nigeria, Benue State Chapter. You've heard it from the State Chairman, AFAM, Mr. Donald Saku Audumba. It's over to you now, studio.
Thank you, Moses. I'm sure farmers in Benue State will be excited following the predictable pombe harvest they expect in this farming season. Thank you, Moses. In line with the recently approved presidential compressed natural gas initiative by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, following the removal of fuel subsidy and to make compressed natural gas the alternative fuel of choice for road transportation, a capacity building seminar to illustrate the role of government in partnership with the private sector in the implementation of the presidential initiative on auto gas conversion has been held in Abuja.
We all know what the cost of fuel is today. We don't have to be told to convert our vehicles because this is cost effective. It is safe. Government has given us an opportunity. So it's now our duty to create that awareness and to train people. We are creating awareness. Our NGO is to create awareness. Then the auto gas engineer is to train people on how to convert their vehicles. We have about 30 to 40 million vehicles that has to be converted. And we don't have technicians that are trained on that.
It's train the trainer, and then we now create a critical mass, in such a manner that hundreds and thousands of people will eventually be brought into the skill net to be able to now dispense all over the country and start mass, conversion process of vehicles, vehicle and engine today that are currently running on petrol and diesel to now start running on auto LPG, auto CNG, and auto LNG.
Okay, let's go on a break. We're back. Please don't go anywhere. Welcome back. Minister of Labour and Employment, Simon Bakula Long, has expressed federal government's commitment to addressing the recent labour crisis and economic challenges besetting the country. This was during his opening remarks in a closed-door meeting currently going on with leadership of the Nigerian Labour Congress in the bid to avert impending nationwide strike threatened by the organised labour to commence not later than this month. The minister acknowledged that the country in recent months has witnessed teething challenges marked by industrial actions and unrest that have adversely affected the economy. He notes that a nationwide industrial action will only worsen the hardship on Nigerians, believing constructive dialogue and working hand in hand with government to find lasting solutions that benefit all Nigerians is the only way forward. And we move now to Jos to join Bilikisu there. Bilikisu?
Good afternoon and welcome to Jos. Participants at a retreat organized by the Plateau State Ministry of Budget and Economic Planning say they are more equipped with requisite knowledge that will enable them discharge their responsibilities efficiently. Indiang and Bagyang reports.
The retreat with the theme, the Green Curve Vision and the 7-point policy trust for inclusive budgetary engagement, the time is now for good governance on the Plateau, equipped staff of the ministry with budgetary and planning skills for the overall development of the state.
Achieve the aim and objectives of the state and also put our own potentials to the betterment of Plateau State.
I have an eye-opening session.
Resource persons dwelt on fundamental principles and latest trend in budgeting and planning, the mastering of the arts of financial forecasting and leveraging on data analysis for informed decision making.
Those who had the opportunity to meet with them, it's for them to also bring it down
line and make sure that they help the governor in terms of getting the things right from the budget office.
And we have also trained our staff on ways to be able to at least understand the relationship of Plateau State with the international corporations and partners.
The Permanent Secretary of the Ministry, Peter Lamba, while declaring the retreat closed, says the ministry will leverage on the knowledge and partner ministries, departments and agencies to scrutinize their budget for the overall growth of the state. In Jos, Ndenyan and the Abuja, NTA News.
Towards reviving the eluding reading culture in society, the Industrial Training Fund says it will continue to intensify efforts in ensuring libraries within the fund are fully equipped with adequate learning materials and personnel. The Director General ITF Joseph Ari stated this at the 16th edition of the Industrial Training Fund's Library Week. Saadatu Muhammad Kafa has details.
The decline in reading culture informed the institutionalization of Library Week by the Industrial Training Fund. This year's edition attracted stakeholders within JOS as well as staff of the fund to understand the valuable role of libraries and their workers. The Director General Industrial Training Fund, Joseph Ari, represented, says libraries empower the workforce to expand its learning horizons and enhance skills development initiatives.
We are aware there is information overload, but then the reading culture should be beefed up.
Speaking on the theme, Dialectics of Knowledge Management in a Globalized Age, Professor Vicky Lowell of the Library and Information Science, University of Jos, notes that management of knowledge has become a critical factor in the success and sustainability of organizations, communities, and nations.
Knowledge management is very important. We're growing to a level of technology where information sources are increasing. Okay, and it requires that we are keeping up to date.
ITF Director, Research and Curriculum Development Department, Ahmad Farouk Wasi, says knowledge and information are constantly evolving, asking individuals and organizations to embrace a culture of curiosity.
We're in the business of human capital development and capacity building, and we cannot drive this this human capacity building without a knowledge background.
In Jos, Saadatu Muhammad Kafa, NTA News.
Nationwide news continues in Abuja with Ruth. Thank you for watching.
Thank you, Bilkisu. The 11th National Chairperson of the Society of Women Accountants of Nigeria, Hilda Ozo, says her leadership is bringing fresh perspective to upholding standards and mentoring of the younger professionals. This was at her investiture in Lagos. Benny Adams will tell us more.
Stepping into the leadership of 45-year-old Society of Women Accountants of Nigeria, Hilda Ozo takes the oath to make her new office better than she met it.
I will discharge my duties.
Surrounded by a team of supporters within and outside the profession, the assurances of supporting her to succeed were in no small measure.
This noble institute had been bestowed with over the years through the effects of successive members of the National Executive Council of ICANN. I want to use this medium to commend SWAN for their remarkable contributions towards empowering women within and outside the accounting profession.
The new leader says upholding the tenets of the profession, which includes accuracy, integrity and standards for national growth and development, is of priority. This is in addition to implementing reforms that will hone the skills of young professionals to make them employment ready.
Sustaining the strong legacy of impact will form the fulcrum of our administration. We will leverage the rich legacies left by past leadership of the society to consolidate the promotion of accountability and transparency in the economy.
Hilda Ozo is the 11th National Chairperson of the Society of Women Accountants of Nigeria. In Abuja, Benny Adams, NTA News.
Katsina State Government is urging the Nigerian Army to further extend ongoing operation of Hadarin Daji to parts of the state. The State Governor, Diko Umar Radda, was speaking while on a working visit to the office of the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Taurit Lakbaja in Abuja.
Without the presence of the Nigerian army in Katsina, I wouldn't have known the condition the state will have been. I want to appeal to the Chief of Army Staff and the Nigerian Army to expand the Operation Hadarin Daji in Katsina State. I believe if the Operation Hadarin Daji is expanded, it will go a long way in helping us to address the issue of insecurity.
Expanding Operation Hadarin Daji will require the intervention of the federal government, because the federal government is funding that operation, and there's a particular size of troops and equipment support physically deployed on the ground that the government is providing the sustenance for. So we'll approach the federal government, but in the immediate term the army headquarters will look at what we can provide.
Governor Diko Umarada commended the Nigerian Army for its numerous internal security operations and promised to accord necessary support to the operations. Governor Bala Mohammed of Bauchi State, in company of the State's Commissioner of Police, Aguele Musa Mohammed, has paid a sympathy visit to the 39 rescued kidnapped victims in the governor's hometown of Duguri in Al-Kaleri local government area of the state. The governor donated cash and 50 motorcycles to the local groups of vigilante in order to fast-track the operations. Awal Abdullahi reports.
Yalwan Duguri village and its headquarters of Duguri district in Al-Kaleri local government area, they have been confronted with various security issues. The affected communities and local hunters, with the support of the Bauchi State Police Command, were able to confront the attackers.
As soon as this report was made, we mobilized without any hesitation, in conjunction with the civil defense, the military, and equally the local hunters association. We are able to pursue them. We are able to neutralize almost about 10 of the bandits, and we are able to free all the captives unhurt.
We thank the Commissioner of Police and other security agencies for giving us cooperation and support, and for doing things that are visible and transparent. I'm calling on the traditional institution and small and other leaders at all the levels to avoid conspiracy and compromise.
The governor called on the entire people of Bauchi State to ensure maximum support to the security operatives in the fight against insecurity. In Bauchi, Awal Abdullahi, NTA News.
Ibadan will be our next stop as we join Kemi for more reports on Nationwide.
Ruth, and welcome to Ibadan. Minister of Power Adebayo Adelabu said he would revolutionize the power sector towards ensuring stable electricity supply and economic prosperity in Nigeria. The minister stated this in Ibadan at a gathering celebrating his appointment as a minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Ayomiku Ajibola was at the reception in our report.
The homecoming of Adebayo Adelabu to Ibadan, the Oyo State capital, was not just ordinary this time around, but as Honorable Minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, saddled with the responsibility to handle the Ministry of Power after his nomination by the President and confirmation by the Nigerian Senate. The minister said his ministry will harness the power of technology to deliver service that will match the speed and value that the 21st century economy demands. He pledged that his ministry will also ensure reliable and accessible power, stressing that every home as well as the sector of economy will benefit from its efforts.
We must ensure that we get a critical mass of electricity supply to our consumers, from the household sector to small businesses and to the industrial sector.
If we can get transmission right, distribution will follow, and then the average man would have access to some power that they can use.
I don't envy him. It's a big task, and I pray that he writes his name in gold.
The reception was attended by close friends of the Minister of Power, political associate, royal fathers, captain of industries, among others. In Ibadan, Ayomiku Ajibola, NTA News.
Projects worth billions of naira embarked upon by Governor Seyi Makinde have been inaugurated in Oyo State by former President Olusegun Obasanjo, with a charge to the state governor to continue to deliver dividends of democracy to the people of the state. Again, correspondent Ayomiku Ajibola reports that the Minister of Works, David Umahi, was represented at the event.
This 34.85 kilometers Isheyin-Fashola Oyo Road project is reconstructed with extra width, stone base and thickness of 12.5 mm in line with federal government road specification, was inaugurated by the former president Olusegun Obasanjo. The road will not only connect the Fashola agribusiness industrial hub of the state, but it will equally create ease of doing business and positively impact on the state economy.
Democracy dividend must involve peace, security, stability, prosperity, wealth creation, employment, and the wholesomeness of the society.
We knew that if we were to compete favorably with other states in Nigeria and become key players in our West African sub-region, we have to interconnect all the zones by road.
The former president also inspected the 1,200 hectares Fashola agribusiness industrial hub project, which was flagged off in 2021 by the state governor as part of plan to transform farm settlement in the state to agribusiness industrial park, with the aim of making the state agricultural sector globally competitive. In Ibadan, Ayomiku Ajibola, NTA News.
And that's it from Ibadan. More reports with Ladidi in Maiduguri after the break.
To Maiduguri, thanks for joining us. Training on basic life support for health workers drawn from general hospitals across Borno State has opened in Maiduguri. Milka Damalan reports that Borno State Deputy Governor Umar Usman Kadafru flagged off the training.
The basic life training is aimed at equipping health workers with health skills that will enable them assess an individual who has collapsed towards helping them recover. Flagging off the training, Deputy Governor Umar Usman Kadafur, who represented Governor Babagana Umara, reiterated the present administration's commitment to prioritize the health sector, calling on the participants to be patriotic citizens and serve diligently.
It's not about building edifices, building hospitals. No. Even the healthcare givers too have to be patriotic. We will have to be committed to ensure that yes, we're doing the best what is obtainable at our disposal in Nigeria.
Special advisor to the President on Health Matters, Dr. Salma Ibrahim Anas, identified the need for continuous refresher trainings for health workers as the health system continues to evolve.
So we are very glad for the partner of the state government. His Excellency Governor Zulum has invested so much in the health sector, and that should yield results with this complementarity of training and capacity building.
The resource person, Dr. Femi Ogunremi, revealed that about 70% of deaths recorded would have been prevented if health workers were equipped with the basic life support skills. The training is expected to be sustained for more health workers to benefit so as to improve the health system. In Maiduguri, Milka Damala, NTA News.
As part of efforts to bridge the deficit in wheat cultivation through innovation and qualitative seeds, National Association of Wheat Farmers, Processors and Marketers of Nigeria is collaborating with Lake Chad Research Institute, LCRI, and other stakeholders in the state. This came to fore during a two-day engagement between the association and the LCRI Maiduguri. Fatima Isa reports.
Wheat is one of the most important crops in the country as it provides substantial amounts of nutrients which are essential for health. The two-day visit, led by the president of the National Association of Wheat Farmers, Processors and Marketers of Nigeria, retired Wing Commander Shuaibu Hamza, alongside other delegations, said the collaboration with Lake Chad Research Institute is basically to source for qualitative seeds and also train farmers through genetic improvements of wheat production in the country.
We want to do something different as an association. In addition to the normal cultivation of the dry season, we want to go into rainy season too. And some of those states that do not cultivate wheat, we want to engage them too.
Responding, Executive Director, Lake Chad Research Institute, Babagana Jugudum, said their request tallies with the mandate of his institute, which seeks to enhance efficiency and profitability in agricultural practice. He further affirmed that the institute will do all that is necessary to collaborate with the association in developing varieties of wheat for specific needs.
This is a task which is noble and a huge task before us to see that we produce the wheat we consume in the country.
The delegation also paid homage to the royal father, the Shehu of Borno, Abubakar ibn Umar Garbay Al-Amin El-Kanemi, to seek fatherly blessings, where it presented a letter to the monarch as its national grand patron. In Maiduguri, Fatima Isa, NTA News.
That does it from here. Nationwide continues with Ruth in Abuja. Ruth, it's back to you.
Thank you, Ladidi. The 15th and 16th of September every year, Mexicans go down memory lane to commemorate the significant period in their nation's history of emancipation from slavery into a lifetime of freedom. The Mexican embassy here in Abuja colorfully brought this to remembrance with dignitaries from all strata of the society who graced the event. Patricia Esamiluba captured the sights and sound of the independence anniversary.
The anniversary actually falls on the 16th of September, but the celebration starts at midnight of 15th of the same month with a feast on authentic varieties of Mexican food, traditional Mexican games as it were with their tradition. These events were reenacted once again at the embassy in Abuja, where top government officials, diplomats, friends and well-wishers joined the Mexicans to mark the day.
If the private sector of Nigeria looks to Mexico and will encourage investors from Mexico into the Nigerian market. Plus, the onus is on us as Nigerians to find what products we can take into Mexico.
The ceremony, the traditional ceremony that they had for their independence was very something you could really realize that it's very important to them.
Now the 16th is deeply embedded in the hearts of every Mexican, which dates back to 1821 when a Catholic priest, Miguel Hidalgo, ignited the revolution with his famous Grito de Dolores, a cry for independence that motivated the people to revolt against one of the strongest monarchs in the world and his Spanish colonizers.
Because the new administration now is in conditions to define and accept a certain numbers of cooperation projects that we are eager to offer.
The battle was a long one, but the independence of Mexico was finally granted in 1821, 11 years after the revolution in 1810. In Abuja, Patricia Esamiluba, NTA News.
All right, we'll take sports update. That's next. And that's Nationwide. Thank you very much for your company. Do have a beautiful evening. I'm Ruth Aguele. Bye.